All right, so today we're gonna be talking about the idea of not using chemicals to clean. It might seem counterintuitive, but it's a good practice to have. You can get really good results without using chemicals, and you don't obviously want to do this all the time. There's a reason for chemicals existing, but there are certain scenarios and maybe cars that you interact with where you don't really need to use much, if any, chemicals to clean. And I don't mean no chemicals at all, like throughout the whole car. But when it comes to things like carpets and maybe even some of the dash, you can get away with basically not using any chemicals. And there's actually a lot of benefits to not cleaning with chemicals that you might not think about right away. One big one is that when you use things like carpet cleaner or really this is mostly, really not using cleaner is mostly going to be something you're going to want to think about when you're cleaning carpets. And that's because carpets tend to cling on to a lot of moisture. So if you notice when you are detailing and you use carpet cleaner, it's going to leave a really good result, but that's the immediately after. You might notice that if you use heavier carpet cleaner or stain removers, things like that it can leave a bit of an odor and even cause the car to kind of steam up. Let's just say I clean all of the carpets and floor mats with carpet cleaner, stain remover, put them back in the car. They aren't fully dried yet. So what happens is all of that is going to stay in the car. So when someone goes to drive it, once the hot air starts blowing, it can cause the inside glass to steam up, and that can be a huge issue. And there can also be that smell. Carpet cleaners don't normally smell that great because it's wet. You don't want mold growing, and there's just a lot of things to consider with carpets that they're going to be a little bit more gentle. And sure, you could extract everything after, or you could try to wipe up all the cleaner after, but that's not really realistic. You can only get so much of it. Recently, I've found this out because especially in the colder months where your chemicals aren't going to evaporate, you want to basically try and use as little chemical as possible. When it's warm and it's the summer, like it's really easy for these different chemicals to evaporate. So while you're detailing, you just leave all the doors open, and then most of the cleaner will evaporate by the time you're done. And then once you get the car back, there's basically no cleaner left in the rugs and you're good to go. But in the winter, like this is especially the opposite, where you go to clean, you put the carpet cleaner on, and then it just hangs around into the rug. And then when they go to drive off, either there's steam coming up or the smell just kind of lingers. And it's just never quite right. When I did a car recently, I talked about using less chemicals or maybe even none. And I think there's actually a lot of merit to it, even in the summertime. So here I have a floor mat. So you can see this thing is not super dirty, but there is some embedded dirt in it. That kind of dirt comes in when you have dirt on your shoes, like water and dirt, and then, it seeps into the fibers of the carpet itself. This is pretty light dirt. Stains are gonna be a lot of buildup. That's when you wanna use stain remover, when there's a lot of buildup, or things like salt, just things that are a lot harder on the rug itself. Whereas with this kind of dirt, I could just throw on a little bit of carpet cleaner and be all right. You don't need a lot. That's one thing that I always used to do. I used to put a ton of carpet cleaner on just because it's like, oh, I have chemicals, I want to use them. But it's like, you should try to use less. Not because you want to save money, but because you'll actually have a better end result by using less. Trust me. 100% trust me. If this didn't have embedded dirt stains though, all I would have to do, simply just use the hand brush and just brush the dirt up into one spot and just vacuum it. The main benefit of carpet cleaner is you're gonna get that embedded dirt from the fibers out. Whereas if you have chunks and loose dirt, then the carpet cleaner isn't really gonna help with that. You might think like, oh, I'm just like jipping them out of getting their carpets clean, and that's not true at all. I've noticed that when I use less cleaner for the carpets, it's actually usually a better result overall. It's just about being mindful of what kind of dirt you're dealing with in the car itself. For the interior cleaner, during the winter even, you're not gonna notice any issues with it. It'll dry up pretty easily and then your car will be fine. I haven't had any issues with using too much interior cleaner. If someone hasn't cleaned their car in a while, you might still need to use a lot of carpet cleaner, and that's okay. But just keep in mind that, it's gonna take a while to evaporate, and there's also going to be that smell there. So try to consolidate where you're using the carpet cleaner, and try to make sure that you're really wiping it up. I'll get you guys set up on this carpet here. We'll just try it with the hand brush, no chemicals, see kind of the before and after. I'm just trying to give you guys things to think about while you're detailing to improve your process and also save you money. Enough rambling, let's get to the sauce. So like I said, first we'll just start with the brush. I just got this nice hand brush here, I love this thing, and I'm just gonna brush it off. Wow. So you can see, like even though there was that embedded dirt, I was still able to get like 90% of the dirt out of there without even using a single chemical. There's obviously still some bits of dirt like right on this edge here and over here. The mat itself is pretty much clean. That's like really the power of just using a hand brush by itself. What's gonna leave the best result. And for me, I think it's more often less smells and just more of a clean car. And that's what this method does. I could maybe just throw a little bit of cleaner on here. Maybe it'll help just deodorize it a bit, something like that. And then throw on some air freshener. That could do 100% job here. I'm gonna take a little bit of carpet cleaner, throw it on, and we'll just see if there's really any difference. One thing I do not approve of is I see all these people taking like a pressure washer and just going to town on their floor mats. Unless you're gonna be hanging out the floor mats to dry for 3 days, I do not recommend doing that. I don't really need excessive cleaner because this is fairly clean, but I just want to show you guys that the difference between using the carpet cleaner and not using the carpet cleaner for some of these floor mats isn't really going to make a big difference. So you can see the carpet does look a little bit cleaner. There's no doubt about it. The cleaner did help. Comparing like when I just used the brush to when I used some cleaner, there's really not a huge difference. I would say the only really big difference is the carpet does appear a little bit more black. So there is still merit to using cleaner. The value you're getting out of it is like gonna be a lot less. And I think this pretty much proves it right here for you guys. If you go into a clean car and you use a bunch of chemicals, it's most likely not going to turn out that great, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but when you have a clean car, it should smell like clean. I don't know how to say it. It shouldn't smell like chemicals. It should smell clean in a way. Carpet cleaners notoriously, at least in my opinion, don't smell that great. I prefer like something like an air freshener, which is meant to smell good. These kinds of considerations are gonna really make or break what makes a good detailer. And so using less chemicals, in my opinion, is going to be like a huge boost to you as a detailer in general, being able to make those decisions and saving yourself a lot of effort. Because overall, the time it takes for me to get the carpet cleaner ready, spray it on, and then agitate it and then wipe it up, that's a lot longer of a process than me simply just agitating it and vacuuming it. I don't know. You can make up your mind when you come down to it. It doesn't matter to me, but you know, for those of you out there who are looking to improve themselves as a detailer or just as like a cleaner in general, less chemicals, there's a secret talent there, not gonna lie, like it's hidden OP or something. I would have never thought of it, honestly. When I first started, I was always like, okay, I'll just use carpet cleaner everywhere. Maybe if it's not that dirty, I'll use a little bit of cleaner anyways. We'll also demonstrate, I'm not gonna demonstrate inside the car yet, but basically, frick it, we'll do it up. Guys, make sure to pick up some merch. Guys, make sure to pick up some merch at dualdetail.com/shop. You won't regret it. So if you look at inside this car, I just took the floor mat out of the driver's side. That's what we just did. But you can see there's like all sorts of like these crumbs and stuff. And normally I would just be like, all right, I'll just vacuum it. But the thing is, a lot of these crumbs are like kind of stuck into the carpet fibers. And that's where like the agitation is going to be really helpful. Maybe I should grab my GoPro for this, huh? Yeah, let's do it up. I'm going to just take my brush, just work all this dirt that's stuck in there out. And then I can put it in one pile, sort of like brushing or brooming or whatever you call it, sweeping. That's the word. I can just sweep it all into a pile. Just apply those principles of least chemical used, or LCU, least chemical usage. And just be smart about it, be diligent. You'll honestly improve a lot with those techniques. I love you guys.